Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back on another video from Nuxtaku, and today we're checking out a video called Retard.
Oh.
Yes. My girlfriend's looking at me because I've been very rude. She tried to have a conversation with me and I've just started doing this video instead. Haha.
I'm used to it.
And I think this is going to be Nuxtaku talking about ReZero, which I think is going to be interesting because I don't think I've ever seen a video of Nuxtaku actually talking about this anime. Let's see what he has to say, shall we? I'm loving it. If you've not caught up to date with it, get caught up to date with it. It's so worth the watch.
Imagine finding a way to be transported to the world of your dreams, to get the girl of your dreams that's way out of your league by any standard, to have a magical ability that even if you die, you get a do-over, and you can
Sounds
keep
like
getting
ReZero.
do-overs until you get everything you want right, and still managing to whine, cry, and complain for 50% of your existence. Honestly, I think this absolute legend deserves a medal, okay? Now, when you see the title of this video, you're probably thinking, wow, Nux is probably talking about the average person on Twitter. And if that is what was going through your mind,
I didn't
you're
think
wrong.
that at all.
Also, sort of right, and you will see how the right and wrongness of that statement converges
Okay.
later into the video. Believe it or not, an insane amount of work went into this one, and I'm very excited to show it to you guys, and I genuinely hope you enjoyed this one. Maybe giving it a like and subscribing if you're not subscribed. That would be sick. But
Okay.
can I just take a moment to appreciate the fact that ReZero is one of the greatest anime series ever?
It
When I
is.
say one of the greatest, I mean
It
like
is.
top 50. And the fact that it has absolutely no hype right now because everyone's talking about Attack on Titan. Well,
I wouldn't say there's no
bastard.
hype
I'm
about
gonna talk
ReZero.
about
I'm seeing stuff pop up every
Why,
week.
you ask? Well, because I already read the Attack on Titan manga, so I'm not overly excited by
Oh, I could get
the
that, but
episode.
ReZero doesn't have a
ReZero
manga,
is
it's a
new
light
to me
novel,
and
so.
very hyped. But I wanted to take this to the next level. I wanted to talk about myself mostly through the lens of ReZero, as well as telling you things about ReZero that maybe on first watch through you did not see. I put
My
a lot of time
God.
into this one, like, that's
That
what
was
I'm trying
ninja.
to say. Anywho, point is, it starts off with a dude who's alone. He's a weed. He's unappreciated by his peers. He's buying porn. I mean, okay, whatever. You know, he's buying manga, let's say. Right. And he walks out of the store and ends up in another world. A world where he can craft a new image of himself entirely. And that's sort of exactly what he does. Now, I can only speak from personal experience because I don't know what goes on in all of your life. But for me personally, whenever I'm put in a new setting, maybe going from high school to college, or
It's
transitioning high
awkward.
schools, or moving from a setting where people know you to a setting where people don't know you, you can think to yourself, wait a second, I can craft
I can
my own
start
identity.
again.
I don't have to just be that person that I was before, that extremely uncool individual that people didn't exactly love, but instead, I can make something different of myself. I can act differently. I can act
start
cool.
from
I can
zero.
act mysterious. I can be that guy that's quiet and badass, and that's how I look to myself when I'm really just acting antisocial and creepy to everybody else. I don't think this is alone to me. I think a lot of people do think that way. And I also think that, in general, it's kind of an unhealthy mindset. Now, hear me out for a second. If you were completely satisfied with who you are before moving or before transitioning, then you wouldn't have to now decide on what your personality is in your new setting. By the fact that
Interesting.
you need to think about it and say to yourself, well, okay, I can tweak this, I can tweak that, I can be outgoing, I can be introverted, I can be edgy, I
Extroverted.
can be cool, I can even change around my hobbies. I can decide I like sports and mingle with the cool kids. Just by the fact that these thoughts go through your head, it means you're not happy with exactly who you are. And I think that's sad. I'm not talking down to you because I have the same thought process, but watching it through Subaru's eyes in ReZero, it allows me to actually appreciate who I am and see that I'm not alone in this area of loneliness. You see, Subaru can enter this alternate world, and he can be funny and outgoing. He can decide, you know what? I
Hell
just need to
yes.
be brave, starting from now, because my cowardice in the past that no one can look at or see, well, that's irrelevant. So
It doesn't
Subaru
matter
turns over a new
anymore.
leaf and becomes a new person. Most isekai anime do not start off in this way. Isekai anime, for those of you that don't know, when the main character gets transported to an alternate universe,
They're usually
defeat
hit by
the
a truck.
Demon Lord or whatever the hell other pastime he needs to find over there. But for the most part, when someone transfers from one world to another world in any piece of media, whether it's anime or other fiction, he doesn't go through the personality change. He doesn't go through the thought processes of I'm not happy with who I am, I therefore need to craft something
it's
different
like
for myself. When I look
finding
at
a
all
place
these
that
other
fits them
shows,
better?
it's the same exact person that was hit by a truck and killed and now transported to an alternate universe. That was the person that was hit by the truck, but not Subaru. ReZero does an amazing job when it comes to crafting, the psychology, and the different psychological
Ooh, this is
states
an
of
interesting
different
look. I like
characters, especially
this.
Subaru. Even though Subaru is not inherently one of my favorite characters of all time, the way ReZero describes his ups and downs mentally makes ReZero one of my favorite anime of all time. I wouldn't have ever stressed on this point that
Season
he
2,
gets to
he has
decide his
such
new
character
personality
growth.
when entering an alternate world if it wasn't the major ongoing theme of ReZero. It's a theme of being unhappy with yourself, yet being so alone. Now, I don't mean to be all touchy-feely, cutesy-wootsy, put my finger in my dookie, but I relate to that mindset, okay? Every single YouTuber, to a certain extent, has a persona on YouTube that they can decide exactly how they want to be
Yeah, they
perceived
can
by other people.
mix it
All my
up
videos,
and
I'm
twiddle
showing
it
you
about.
the high points of my personality. I'm not showing you when I'm sitting under a table, crying, getting
That's
drunk,
not
eating
entertaining.
ice
That doesn't
cream.
get
Not that
views.
that's ever happened
People
or
don't want to see
anything,
that.
But if it would, I wouldn't document it, is what I'm trying to say. Being that I'm showing you the high points, I can selectively choose what parts of my life I want you to see. And that's exactly what Subaru does.
He's trying to
when he
do,
enters
yeah.
this other world. He doesn't go around filling people in on his wasted life until this point. How he didn't really go to school, he was kind of a nerd, he didn't have any friends. Now,
Yeah,
he's
we
not
learned
gonna
that
fill
in
them
the
out.
recent
He's
few
gonna
episodes, didn't we,
decide
with the
what he wants them
flashback
to see
scene
from
for
this moment
before he got
forward.
teleported,
Despite
yeah.
the fact that that's great as far as the future goes, his personage includes his past. I know it's an amazing mindset to look at people for who they become, not for who they were, but to really connect with someone, it's important to know where they came from as well. So, on a personal level, just from the setting alone of Subaru transferring to this other world and then immediately crafting a new persona for himself and he wants people to regard him in that way, it does very much remind me of him. It does very much remind me of my job, where I am showing you a persona that I want you to see, even if it's not necessarily 100% accurate to me myself, because just like everyone else, I have my down points in life, and it's much easier to just run away from them than to actually confront them. As ReZero progresses, this theme of being alone increases tremendously with every passing episode. Honestly, it's one of the reasons why I love this show so much, despite not even being the primary thematic principle that the show actually follows. The main character's power is probably the high point of ReZero, and really
Being able to
the
start
glue that
again
sticks everything
and
together.
fix the
On
mistakes
one
that he's
hand,
made,
it's
kind
the
of thing,
ability
yeah.
to return by death. Anytime he dies, he comes back to life at the last quote-unquote checkpoint, so he can give things a go again, so that he can always keep trying. Wow, very wholesome and convenient, so that even if he dies or his loved ones die, he can always off himself and try again. Wow, I am so
But the second
happy
season
things
touches
are
on it in a
actually
really
working
interesting
out.
way.
This
I
is so
loved it.
wholesome. I mean, obviously, there's tremendous psychological trauma
It's
to,
like, it's
you know,
okay, fine, you
being
can start all over
killed
again, but what about the people he's left
and,
behind?
watching your loved ones
In
die
those different
time and
timelines,
time
it's like,
again, so
whoa.
you can keep reviving yourself, and it's brutal out there, fam. It is rough, and for the most part, when it comes to ReZero, that's the best part. The psychological journey that Subaru goes through as he tries time and time again to get things to work out well. And that's all fine, great, and dandy, but the real reason I'm making this video is because of a different aspect to Subaru's power. An aspect that I don't really see anybody talking about, despite the fact that it is the cornerstone of what makes his
And what's
power
that?
so terrifying. And that is that he is forbidden to tell people
Oh, yeah, you can't
that
tell
he
anyone, yeah,
has
yeah.
this ability. Anytime he wants to tell people that he is this return
He gets a big
by
yank
death
on the chest,
power,
like, "Ugh."
ethereal ghostly hands clutch his heart and begin to sap away at his life force. It becomes impossible for him to actually tell other people what he experiences and what he does, and it's a burden he has to bear alone. This obviously makes sense in the plot itself.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
could imagine him just being able to tell
PTSD
anyone,
or
yeah,
whatever that he doesn't want to talk about it. The being that gave him this power, and I'm trying not to spoil here, is the being that forbids him to tell others
Yeah.
of this ability. And pardon me, but that's what makes it powerful. As I mentioned, this guy going through his crazy personality shift, popping into the world, clearly showing that he is unhappy with himself and he's not willing to share who he truly is with others, trying to instead craft a new identity for himself. This is the same individual who's locked in a position that he cannot share his present ongoings with the people around. Being alone, in my mind, isn't not having people around. It's not living a single life
It's
without
not being
a
able to be
roommate.
you
It's
and
not
share
having people around
with
as
people.
you're camping in the wilderness, fighting bears and stuff, okay? That's not what loneliness is. The way I view loneliness is the isolation of having no one to tell what you feel. And I don't mean
Yeah,
a
okay.
therapist, okay? Even if it's not traumatic things, not being able to talk to people makes it nearly impossible to go through anything. And even having one person that's willing to hear what you have to say and can understand or relate to what you're going through, it makes the world of a difference in your battle against anything. As a YouTuber, I stress over the YouTube algorithm a lot. A lot! I made an hour and 10-minute video talking
When you're a
about how
YouTuber,
the
you
YouTube
can't help
algorithm is
but get a little
designed
bit stressed
to
out
break
at times.
you. I stress over it, and despite the fact that I have a bunch of friends that I'm always happy to talk to, I cannot talk to them about these things because they don't get it. They can't relate to something so far-fetched and far away, distant from their current lives. So when it comes to the YouTube system, I am alone when it comes to all my IRL friends. The YouTubers that I've met through this, the people that I could really talk and vent about my experiences, they've saved me. There is no way I would still be making videos. Despite the fact that I love making videos, there's no way I would still be doing it if I didn't have the backbone and cornerstone of other YouTubers that I could talk to about these things. Having someone that could relate to you, having someone that you can share your experiences with, means that there's another shoulder that it could weigh on. That you have someone with you, lugging your baggage
But yeah,
up
like,
the
problem
mountain
shared
that
is a
is
problem
light. And
halved,
Subaru,
isn't it?
having
Is
this
that the
crazy
phrase?
power, this traumatic power to die and die time and time again, watching his friends before him die yet come back, is not nearly as bad as the fact that he can't tell
anyone that he
about
can do
the
it,
fact
yeah.
that no one could recognize him for what he does. You got a lot of rich people giving money to charity, and that's wonderful and great. But they wouldn't give that money to charity if they didn't have people recognizing it, okay? They're not selfless here.
Interesting.
Bill Gates
Okay.
can't do anything with $100 billion. That's what I'm trying to say. There gets to a point where, like, I mean, to be honest, there's only so many personal jets that a guy needs. But still, he makes sure that the whole world sees him give money to charity. So despite the trauma and the pain that Subaru goes through time
You
and
can't
time
tell
again,
anyone that
no
he's
one could
done it.
recognize the weight he's pulling.
Yeah.
No one knows
It's
that
impossible
he's
for him
been
to
through
talk to
the
anyone at
same
all about it.
scenario
Yeah, damn.
a dozen times, watching himself and his friends die torturous deaths before him. People can't understand why he seems so stressed out and despondent to current society. There are a bunch of examples that I wanted to bring from the actual show to really prove my point, and I wanted to mention them, but I also wanted to say that this concept speaks to me, and not just to me, because I'm a YouTuber. No, it speaks to everyone. Being that we're all created differently, we all have different issues. We all have baggage, and we all have things that we want to share, but can't share.
What's
People
wrong
with
with the
financial
wind?
troubles can't complain to people that don't have financial troubles, because even if they could hear it, they will never understand
Yeah,
it.
they won't
People with
actually get it,
relationship
yeah.
issues can't complain to people who never had a relationship.
'Cause how do they
because
understand?
Even if they
Yeah.
want to listen and mean well, they won't understand
Yeah.
it. We all have a personal life, and we all have personal experiences that are unique to us, and none of them are as traumatic as Subaru's. But despite that, watching this story, watching this man muddling alone in the dark, really hits me hard as someone that also has things to share that just can't be translated. It's weird. It's weird that I feel like the people that watch me are friends of mine on one hand, and I appreciate all of you. I really genuinely
Very
do.
nice. Thanks,
But on
Nick.
the flip side, if I ever tell you my address, I'm gonna get
Please
swatted
don't
again
turn around
because I've
and come
already
round,
gotten
yeah.
swatted, and it was horrible.
Damn.
Someone called the SWAT team. They came to my house. They were like,
Oh
"All right,
my
are you hoarding
God.
guns or drugs?" I'm like, no. They searched
got
my
lots of
apartment.
anime.
They told me they got a call, an anonymous tip that I was doing all these terrible, heinous activities. I showed them that like I stream and stuff, and it was probably some crazy fan. They were like, "Alright, you have a good day, sir." I offered them a drink because I'm a gentleman. They turned it down because they probably thought I was gonna poison them, and that was the story. Now, it doesn't sound
SWAT
too
team
scary,
there with
but
guns
there
is
are
like,
so
well,
many
how do you
stories of
hear?
people getting swatted, and the SWAT team kills the person. There are so many deaths that come from swatting. It's
There have been
insane.
some really
And this
bad
isn't a
swatting
story
events,
about me
haven't
venting
they?
about swatting, but can you imagine how scary it is for me knowing that it can happen at any time? Now, I'll be frank, every time I want to stream, it goes through my head that I might get swatted on stream. And the fact that that pops into my head every
that's not
single
nice.
time
That's not
I'm gonna
nice at
click
all,
the
is
go
it?
live button
Eee.
is not normal. But it's also a feeling that no one in
Else
the
can
world,
understand.
unless there's someone that got swatted in the past, can relate to.
There's not very
No
many
one.
people,
No
yeah.
one can relate to that fear. So I have this weird relationship with you. On the one hand, I genuinely appreciate you, and I'm always happy to talk to you guys.
But-
And I'm thrilled when I read your comments. But on the other hand, I can't tell you do personal shiz. I don't want more SWAT teams coming to my house. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, the disability to relate to people around you is torture. It's rough. Being an anime fan in my high school when there was like one other kid in the whole school that liked anime.
There
and
was
he
not
only
many people
actually
that
joined the
liked anime
school
when I
in
was at school.
ninth grade. So until that point, I was kind of alone. Well, I'm not going to talk to people about anime when the last anime they watched was Pokemon in kindergarten. Not being able to relate to the people
True.
around you sucks is what I'm trying to say. And in ReZero Season 1, there was a scene where Subaru was acting like a complete jackass in the throne room in front of Amelia.
Amazing
in front of
scene.
all the other royal selection candidate people. And it was tough to watch. Subaru then gets into a fight with Sir Pompous Night Douche.
Yeah, he
And of
gets
course,
the
Sir Pompous Night Douche
absolute
does a great job
heck
of,
beaten out of him.
absolutely destroying him because he's
Yeah.
way stronger. And it
Oh
was
my
a terrible
God,
idea on
so
Subaru's
hard to
part.
watch.
And then when Subaru's in bed, beaten to a pulp, he says to to Emilia, I did all this for you. And Emilia shuts him down. She asks
Ooh,
him to
she
stop. She
doesn't
asks
like
him to
that.
not keep
Yeah.
poking the bear. And he freaks out. He gets all clingy. He seems to know her way better than she seems to know him. And she basically ditches. She breaks his heart. Now, this situation only came to pass because of all the severe mental baggage that he went through.
Yeah, it's like
This
he's had so
dude
much
died
happen to
time
him that
and
he
time
can't
again
talk to
trying
him
save
about it, and
Amelia.
it's just
And
like,
this
do
is
you
the
not
things that
understand
he
what
gets.
I've gone
This is the
through, and I
appreciation
can't
for all
tell
his
you.
efforts. Her just ditching him, well, that hurts bad. Him connecting with Rem so much that Rem keeps dying time and time again in front of him. She does so much to him, does so much for the people around him, even professes her love to him, which he suddenly turns down. In a clip that broke the hearts of millions.
Yep.
So of course I had to
So
show it to
hard to
Connor a dozen times.
Why are you showing me this stuff? Why are you
We're all-
torturing me?
The good part. Ah, you get it?
Oh, Sea Dog.
Come on. Come on!
God, I love showing that clip to Connor. It's so good! It's so good! And then, what's the biggest shock to Subaru? What's the thing that really drives him mad? This is the person that saved him from his darkest spot, where he completely lost his mind, came back, and it was thanks to Rem that he was able to gather his thoughts and have the willpower to try again.
Carry on,
What's
yeah.
the things that she gets? She's wiped from the memories of every other character except for him.
Yeah, in
And
season
no
2,
matter
man,
he
it's like,
says, even
what?
Rem's own sister doesn't remember.
Ram doesn't have a
all
clue,
the people
yeah.
that she saved, all the good that she's done. She's gone in the memories of everyone. She alone bears her will. That's rough. It's not just killing a character, it's erasing a character. When a close family member dies, or a friend, the biggest consoling factor is that other people can relate. The fact that your siblings and friends went through the same thing you did, and that that person can live on in the memories of all the people that knew them and that they affected. Rem's quote-unquote death took place with no one able to share this burden. No one
Yeah, it's
remembering
just
the things she's done.
Subaru,
No
and then
one
like no
appreciating
one can
all
actually
that
like
she
even help him out with
sacrificed.
that. He's
It's a death that leaves the
alone
ultimate
with
void,
that.
and again, another thing Subaru has to bear alone.
Yeah.
A couple years back, my dad's parents passed away, and it was a pretty rough time for like our entire family, obviously. We were very close, and it was very, very sad, despite the fact that they were very old. We were all very close, and it hurts to talk about even now, like 5 years later. Not to reopen any wounds or anything, but my dad has 2 siblings, and they always got along. It's not that they didn't, but they kind of got along from a distance. Like, they never hated each other, but they didn't really have anything to do with each other. And that was the ultimate turning point when it comes to that relationship, because right now, my dad and his 2 siblings are extremely close. It honestly really did bring them much, much closer together,
yeah.
and if my grandparents would have been alive to see that, it would have made them extremely happy to witness. My dad and his brother see each other like every single week, and it's that camaraderie, that ability to share an experience with someone else that really brings them closer together and make them feel like they're not carrying the burden alone. Subaru carries this burden alone. Now, ReZero Season 2, I think, is a step up when it comes to Season 1 in every single way. When it comes to
Oh,
themes,
yes,
when it comes
definitely.
to story, when it comes to character development of the entire cast all
Everyone
around. There are 4
grows.
things in particular that I think Season 2 did to cement ReZero as an actual classic anime. The first is the backstory. It's Subaru's trial, where we get to meet Subaru's parents.
Parents,
through
yeah,
his
we see like what
memories
happened
and see what his
beforehand. It's like,
childhood was really all
whoa.
about. The second was Echidna, the Witch of Greed, and her confrontations with Subaru, as well as Subaru's growth through those confrontations. The third is Otto, the best
Otto,
wingman
yes,
in all
he's class.
of anime.
He is
period.
absolutely
Otto
awesome,
Mistborn,
man.
We'll talk about him soon. And the fourth is Roswaal, one of my 10 favorite anime antagonists of all time, period. And the best part of all 4 of these epic moments is they all peter down to this very similar theme of what it means to go at life alone. If you look at the first one, his backstory, sort of, through the trial, where you meet his parents, you see that he had an extremely, crushingly lonely childhood. And I don't really want to go
Yeah.
through that episode point by point.
He
because
lost
that's
all
one
his
of the
mates and everything when he was
greatest
younger, didn't he?
crafted episodes when it comes to
Then
showing
didn't
a
want to go
backstory
to
and
school.
showing a character's growth I've ever seen. It's a tale about how he's alone and rejected, and therefore decides to reject everything around
Yeah, he
him.
just pushes
No
everyone
longer
else
wants to
away
go to
because he
school.
feels like they
no
pushed him
longer
away.
wants to meet people. He no longer even desires to have someone to share his life with, and that's everything he tells himself due to the rejection of everything around him. He is completely alone. But the truth of the matter is that he's not alone. Many people find themselves crying in the shower and lamenting their loneliness, when in actuality, they aren't alone, yet they convince themselves
They feel
that
like they are.
In almost everyone's life, there's someone. There's someone to listen to you. There's someone to experience things with you, and there's someone to pick you back up when you're down. There's always someone to talk to and someone that's looking out for you. Even Even though, for the most part, you convince yourself that there is. Because, psychologically speaking, when someone takes something for granted, they don't recognize that that could be the complete antidote of all of the issues that they're going through. Subaru's parents do an amazing job when it comes to highlighting that lesson, when it comes to showing that Subaru is not alone despite feeling that way, and there's always someone that he can turn to, even if it's from the least expected or least desirable place, and that you, the viewer, just like me, are not completely alone, even though we may think we are. The second tremendous scene of the 4th season, and this is probably my favorite scene in the entire story so far, Subaru meeting Echidna, a witch, in some alternate universe, and drinking her bodily fluids. Okay, fine. The drinking the bodily fluids is not exactly the favorite thing.
Yeah, it's
okay?
bit weird,
It was pretty epic, though, when she was like, bam, this came out of my vagina. Know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Alright, there's no recovering from that one at this point. Let's just move on. But when she says, you could tell me, and he realizes that even though Echidna can't interact with anyone in his real world, and even though
actually
she's
have
talking to him
someone to
for her
tell.
own benefit, he realizes that
It's
he can
like,
finally share
what?
the fact that he can return by death. Because Echidna is a witch and was able to watch him and his various conquests through space and time, dying time and time again. And when he realizes that he can actually say it, he starts
Says it over and
sobbing
over again and
himself,
crying. It's like,
realizing
wow.
that he was finally able to share his most personal experience, an experience that he couldn't even tell most people if he wanted to. He could finally share it with someone. The third extremely powerful scene with Otto, best boy, is when Otto bitch slaps
Yeah.
Subaru. Yeah, that's right. Otto 1, Subaru 0. Let's go. But most importantly, Otto's a friend. Subaru didn't realize that he can actually lean on somebody else.
Yeah,
Part of
he's
what
like, stop
friendship
trying to take
is
it all by
letting them
yourself and let
support
us
you.
help
It's
you.
not all about you doing things for them. And Otto, who's essentially a glorified cab driver, pulled off the most epic bro moment of all time, giving Subaru the long-awaited yelling he deserved,
Yep.
saying that he could rely on him, saying that they could go at this together, saying that Subaru does not need to shoulder all this alone. And even though Otto doesn't have space-time defying
Yeah, to
powers,
understand,
and
like,
even though Otto doesn't understand everything
stuff that's
Subaru's
going
going
on,
through,
it's like,
because
still
Subaru
be
can't
there
even
for him.
tell him. Sometimes that's not what friendship is about. Sometimes friendship is about just sticking your dick out for your bro. Otto is the greatest wingman in all of anime.
He is class,
in his journey to get Subaru into Amelia's pants. I mean, to get Subaru to save the world
Yes,
and free
yeah.
the sanctuary and stuff, but mostly to get
Free
into
the
Amelia's
sanctuary.
pants. I think everyone has an Otto to a certain degree. Even if we don't know we do, because Subaru didn't recognize that he had an Otto until Otto decided to step in and, you know, punch him in the face,
Yeah.
like a good
You're
wingman
right.
does from time to
Yeah.
time. In fact, 83% of people that get with the girl of their dreams has a wingman that punches them in the face. True story. It's so hard to turn to people for help. It really is. And it's so sad because it seems like the natural thing to do. As human beings, we rely on each other all the time. All the technology you use was invented by someone else. Unless Thomas Edison himself is watching this video. Which, honestly, Thomas Edison, if you're watching this video, definitely subscribe. But what I'm trying to say is, we're all so stubborn. Even when it comes to things that people genuinely want to do. The amount of times I'm not willing to ask for help. Or not willing to ask for a favor. For whatever reason. Maybe it's because I don't
Sometimes
like
it's
looking
difficult.
vulnerable, and I don't want people to think that they have something over than me now that they did a favor. But honestly, the high points of my life are when I do something positive for my friends. So, allowing my friends to do something like that for me is genuinely the give and take that makes every relationship work. Both sides need to be giving at all times, and sometimes the person that is vulnerable is too selfish or self-absorbed to notice that sometimes for their friend's sake, they ask them for a favor, willing to let someone else into your own bleak existence every once in a while, honestly, is the ultimate cure for everything. Otto isn't super powerful. Otto isn't an absolute genius master planner. If
Yeah, but
he'd
he's
play
still
Among
there
Us, he
for
would
him.
lose as the imposter every single time. Otto's a character that got barely any screen time, but that was always there. Otto's not super special, he's not super influential, and he's not someone that you can use for clout, but he's a friend, and that's worth more than all those things that I've mentioned before. YouTube is a job that makes you feel like you're doing everything alone. That it's your personality that you're putting on your channel, that you're getting your viewers and you're making your thumbnails, that you're up against this massive ecosystem, and that you don't really have any chance of survival here, because so many channels that are popping at one point just die over the next few years. It's a very scary environment, and honestly, having found friends that I can help them with their thumbnails, that they can give me good ideas for titling my videos, that we can collab and watch things together, honestly, recognizing that was by far the most beneficial move I could have taken. More often than not, we have the illusion of life being easier to just stay huddled in your own shell and not ask people for help. To go at things alone so other people can't mess it up. To not need to rely on other people who are very often unreliable
Okay.
and annoying, yet despite all that, it's not easier because your mental health is the one thing that no one takes accountability for. Everyone can calculate every hour of their day, what they're doing, how to proceed, how to succeed. But at the end of the day, the thing that no one counts for is the thing that makes us all tick. And opening up to a homie is sometimes worth more than any amount of success you could have gotten without giving your precious hours to helping a friend. And like any good story, we have an amazing antagonist. Roswaal is a fantastic antagonist for a
He is
multitude of reasons. And
great.
this isn't a character analysis on him per se, but I did specifically want to talk about a few parts of his character and how he perfectly reflects the theme here, and that is what every good antagonist needs to try and do. Contrasting the themes and the challenges of the protagonist is what you want to see. Roswaal has a most brilliant philosophy. He is the ultimate utilitarianistic bastard. He puts results over anything else, and in his mind, the ultimate way to create it is to turn Subaru into somebody that thinks and acts exactly like he would. He sets up this ultimate challenge.
Oh my
for
God, it's like,
Subaru,
yeah, you gotta
where he has
choose
two
who you're gonna
coordinated
save.
attacks going on at the same time. One in the sanctuary and one in his mansion. And
Who are you gonna
Subaru
let
can
die?
only save one of them. No matter how many times Subaru dies and comes back and dies
Oh, that was
again,
vicious with the
he continues to
rabbits.
be thrown into the cycle where he can't save everyone. He's conditioning Subaru to become of the same mind as he is himself. And he doesn't care how gruesome his death is, because in another timeline where Subaru wakes up, there will be another Roswaal. He doesn't care about his own demise and about the demise of the people close to him, because with every single cycle, Subaru gets a step closer to becoming
Becoming him.
the spiritual successor of his archenemy. This is so powerful because Roswaal is the temptation of isolation. He is forcing Subaru to go a path alone. He's thinking linearly how Subaru should be acting in every case. What situation and decision Subaru is going to need to make at every point. The only thing that he doesn't account for is the fact that Subaru could reach out, is the fact that Subaru could make friends,
Could
and is the fact
actually
that Subaru
get
could
help,
do something
yeah.
that Roswaal could not. Roswaal was living a lie his
Yeah, when he
entire
turns in
life
with
for
Otto
a
and
grandiose
Garfield,
goal.
it's
And at
like
the end of
Otto's
the
the
day,
one
all of his
thing
success,
that he
all of
didn't
his
count on.
brilliance is just winding down a path
He didn't
of
count on him
isolation.
getting a
And the
friend.
thing is, I understand Roswaal very, very well. I find myself to be a kind of person that tries to shove my emotions down and tries to hide it in different places so that I can work on what I view as the most important thing in front of me right now. And honestly, I still do it, despite knowing that it is not healthy and does not work in the
Yeah,
long
we all
run.
do
For
it
the
at
last
times.
week and a half or so, I kind of took it easy, but before that, dude, I was uploading like insane, high quality videos.
I did
every
notice
day.
that, like, on
Over
his
the last few
Noxanor
days,
channel,
I
it's
was
been like
working
3
with tech
weeks since
stuff.
he's
I got
uploaded
a
anything
second
as well.
monitor finally. I'm gonna stream more. I'm excited, but the idea of taking alone time or taking a break time or taking chill time, that was foreign to me, because every moment that I would rest, I would think, wow, this is a moment that I could do
It's
something
like I could be
productive.
editing a video,
Okay,
I could be
wow,
recording
can't
something, I
believe
could be
I'm doing
working on a
something like
script,
this.
I could be doing
get
anything,
the
yeah.
mindset so well, and I still beat myself up over it every time I watch an episode of something. To chill, I'm upset at myself for wasting that
For
time.
not
Now,
doing
I wouldn't say
something.
I throw myself into a cycle of demise where I witness myself dying in extremely excruciating ways in order for a future incarnation of myself to do better. Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say that I do something like that, per se, yet. But
Yet.
the concept of squashing down your mental health in order to go at things alone for some sort of 100% progress bar, that is not the right way to live. Because an 100% progress bar alone, at the end of the day, it's not success. It defeat worth trying. This is the biggest lesson that ReZero taught me. It's the biggest theme that affected me when it comes to watching the show. That, yeah, I really like the situations and how the characters get out of them and all of that. The romance is like, okay, whatever. But when I watch
Yeah, the
ReZero
romance isn't
and
really
I'm
there.
viewing this world of isolation, this world where it's about a character who's forced to go at things alone, it really does get me thinking. It really does make me realize how alone I am. It makes me realize how alone everyone is. Especially in the modern day where we feel like we have parasocial relationships so often. You have stans of every big YouTuber living their life as just a culmination of their identity being a fan of a YouTuber or a K-pop star or whatever it is. Online relationships where you feel like you're friends with someone because they like your tweets despite despite having never spoken to them. And to be
Yeah.
honest, I was thinking about this for a while because I think that for me personally, the absolute hardest part of coronavirus is the isolation aspect of. Yes, people are sick, and luckily, no one in my family passed away because of it, and I'm extremely grateful for that. But being that I don't personally know anyone that died, the part that really affected me most was the loneliness. I feel like everyone over the last year somehow had their lives take this
Definitely.
drastic turn where relationships died and self-sufficiency was born, but not a healthy self-sufficiency. A self-sufficiency due to the lack of people around us to support. So maybe ReZero came out at the perfect time. Maybe ReZero just hit me hard because I recognize that I am alone. And it's rough, but I am extremely grateful for all of you that want this, and for all of you that made it this far, and for all of you in general. You guys are awesome. You're extremely powerful, and you keep me going. I really thank you. Leave a like if you didn't yet, and subscribe for future epic videos and analysis and memes and whatever the hell I'm interested in doing, because that's basically my motto here, okay? We do what we want. That's right, baby. No rules. But you know how, growing up, every one of us was like a Naruto-tard, like a massive fan for Naruto, or a One Piece tard,
That
or
was
a Pokken
Boruto, but
tard.
okay.
Remember that old terminology? Well, I think it's time to bring it back. Because after really getting all teary-eyed over some scenes in ReZero, looking at a protagonist who's forced to go at things alone,
where he's got the
and
title
remind me
from
of
now.
the
That's
isolation
brilliant.
that I myself feel all too often with my prideful asshole of a heart not willing to
Class,
ask people
yes,
around me
say
for
it.
help until I eventually implode in a downward spiral of loneliness and misery. I am a retard. Shout out to
There
the
we
inevitable
go.
Twitter warriors that
Amazing.
are going to take this out of context and blast me with it. But also shout out to the people that make me feel not alone and fight on my behalf whenever these social justice morons decide to destroy me over reasons that are stupid. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Have yourselves a most wonderful evening, and remember to
Stay weird, fam. That was brilliant. I like that build up at the end. It's like, that's where the title comes from. It's been a while since I've watched a video of Nux being quite, you know, serious, but funny. But yeah, I advise watching ReZero. It is really, really good. And not got much to say on that. I enjoyed that video. Thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave comments down below. Let me know what you want to discuss in future videos, and I'll see you guys next time.